Hi everyone, Wolfgang here, and today we're talking about the most recent movie by Marvel Studios, which is Eternals by Chloe Zhao. And despite a pompous looks and some allusions to Bible, the movie still has some problems with the storytelling, which really, the more I start to think about what I witnessed just recently in the cinema, it really reminds me of some of the movies of DC, another mammoth of comic book stories and production and all the things. And it's really surprising that Eternals became a new Marvel movie because it definitely feels quite different. And they for sure decided to take some different approach this time just because, well, they invited the Oscar winning director who's been working with more serious movies, and she won her Oscar for No Man's Land, which is quite different from what you would expect from a director who's making the superhero movies. But nevertheless, Eternals is a group of superheroes not really known for a common viewer, just like I am. Because, for example, I knew almost all the superheroes that were already exhausted in all the other Marvel's movies, and this time Eternals was something completely new. That is why I also was like, okay, maybe for this specific movie, I don't necessarily have to watch all bazillion movies and series that Marvel already made, which I haven't seen all of them. So perhaps there will be some better explanation and understanding for newly introduced characters because, well, I was eager to learn more, and I was hoping that this time, this introduction movie would help us understand who are Eternals better. The movie starts off giving us a good read on the situation, literally. So it's just like a text in the, I don't know, for some reason, Star Wars kind of style. That's the first thing that comes to mind when they just give some exposition in text at the very beginning of the movie. So this is pretty much what happened here, and they give us a brief explanation of the main groups of creatures, which are Eternals, this immortal human-like superheroes, the Deviants, these mutants that they're fighting with, and Celestials. From what I understood, they already were mentioned in the previous Marvel movies. That is why maybe I did miss out some things from not watching all of them. But basically, Celestial are some like godlike creatures, like Titans or something like this. Yeah, and after reading all that, we are pretty much learning all the same exposition from the movie because all these events are being explained to the main characters because apparently Eternals also have no real clue of what is going on and what is their goal. We learn that they and Deviants were both created by the same Prime Celestial, Arishem, and they are there to help other new Celestials to be born. Yeah. So what was the point of adding all this text? I'm not sure. At the very beginning, the movie was so incredibly serious and boring. For the first 40-50 minutes, we are learning that little text, then the Eternals appearing on Earth, 5000 BC, and, well, you definitely could have spared yourself some time if you miss the beginning and just go get a popcorn or something like this. But anyhow, so Eternals appeared on Earth 5000 BC, and as I already mentioned, they were created to protect the human race from mutants called deviants. And they are resembling animals, but they are having much more futuristic, weird, cool look, and they're super powerful. Or are they supposed to be? Because basically, they pretty much like zombies. They are being killed after their head gets smashed. The least entertaining part that I found was the two main protagonists, Cersei and Ikaris, which are so boring, so boring characters without any cool distinctive personality. So Icarus is this Superman copy paste hero, while Cersei is just
A cool woman in a Green Lantern suit.
trying to make right things. And that's really it. You know, all the other characters I don't necessarily have any problems with. You already can read their personalities from the very first appearance that they have. Like Sprite, who also luckily was in the first part of the movie, having this flamboyant, youthful personality because, I mean, she was child eternal, like she was like a teenager while all the rest were adults. And then there was Kingo, who, of course, you know, the most easily likable character because, well, he was responsible for most of the fun happening out there. And he's the Eternal who became a Bollywood superstar. So that was pretty fun. And, you know, all the other characters, honestly, I have much admiration for them. Like Fastus, this incredible inventor who was trying to facilitate the development of the human race with proposed new technologies that he could have added, or which actually, you know, I didn't necessarily like this point. Maybe it is more like a thing that Eternals necessarily in the comic books appeared, you know, that the idea that technologies that we believe were human made and developed and a big time was spent in order to create those new technologies were actually given or tipped by some godlike creature. That's a bit also contradicting with the whole anthropocentric idea that's surrounding the film when they always claim that humans are the best. They make art, they make love, they kill, but they are so wonderful, so we cannot allow them to die. So I don't know. I mean, that was honestly a bit weird because besides that, when Cersei get explanations from Arisham of what is their actual goal is, we get in the flashbacks and the introduction from other planet when there were other humanoid-like creatures, which I really doubt are so far away from humans. I mean, it's nice and all to believe that humans are one and only kind of living beings and creatures who were able to build something like a developed civilization or something like this. But if we're talking about something like comic book universes and things, I highly doubt that Earth is like the only planet that was able to be as good as Eternals are now realizing. You know, was it just a coincidence that they realized that the humans are so cool, or did they ever fail to stop the birth of new celestial? Did Icarus always succeed to stop everybody from preventing the birth? I don't know. It's great to feel special, but honestly, it sounds a bit weird. And you know, I haven't read this comic, so as I already mentioned, it was my first encounter with these characters, so I may be definitely missing a lot of context, but Icarus seemed to be a super shallow character because he did have the okayish conflict kinda at the very end when we all turn out that he's ready to betray his family and friends in order to fulfill the order of the Prime Celestial Arisham, which is another biblical reference because technically, like, he acted as if he was on a crusade for his faith and he was blinded by it, and he would do anything to fulfill the will of the god. And that's pretty much what happened. And besides this, the phrases he'd been thinking, his motivation to trying to still fulfill his order and act in a really kind way, and the thing that he said to Cersei, his long-term partner, that he left her because he didn't want to hurt her, he didn't want to put her in danger, and it was so hard for him to leave all these centuries and years. with what he knew. I don't know. I don't know what I feel about it. He really acted like a snitch, to be honest, and he didn't look for a way to discuss all this together with his groups of friends. And those other people who are, you know, his friends grew affection to, and he really felt in the super egoistic slash dutiful way as well. And I can see that as being a motivation. Is it a good motivation? No, but it probably shows even more that he's not only a shallow character, but also rather stupid because he couldn't think and decide for himself. And if there was one order given to him from high powers, from the creator, that means that he has to fulfill it at all costs. Despite all that, and my hate that you can sense towards this Icarus character, I do feel like that movie did a great job in terms of the representation. So like some people are actually considering that to be a con rather than pro point when they discussing the film. Well, I feel like the for a viewer like I was, who doesn't know any backstory of any of the characters, I felt like it was nice to have a huge diversity of different people. Like there was this deaf person as well acting. It was interesting to witness this on the screen, how this whole dynamic would be working. So I feel like don't necessarily have any problems with any of the characters besides Icarus being stupid and boring and Cersei being just boring. So yeah, Kingo is definitely the best with his butler, and I feel like this is something that you would expect from a Marvel movie. But you know, it's easy to like likable and funny character. That's why you know it's easy to say that he was great. So you know, the movie turned out to be okay. You will be quite in danger of falling asleep in the first 40 or 50 minutes just because we follow the story only with Cersei and Icarus. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you are really into superhero movies, or you feel like you have a spare 2.5 hours, I guess that could be your choice. But it's definitely not extremely highly recommended to go and watch it in the cinema. But anyhow, thank you very much. Let me know down in the comments what do you think about the movie, and I'll see you next time.